My sister hired detectives for revenge to claim I lied about my thriving life after cutting ties with our toxic family. She planned to publicly shame me as a fraud at my grandmother's birthday dinner. But their faces went white when the detective's report was set on the table and exposed. 5 years ago, my world shattered into a million pieces, all thanks to the malicious smirk on my sister Olivia's face and my father David's chilling words. I always knew you'd amount to nothing. That night, the mahogany dining table felt less like a family gathering spot and more like a gladiatorial arena, drenched in a toxic mix of my mother Brenda's theatric sobs and Olivia's triumphant glee. Standing at the precipice of my shattered world, I swore I'd never let my family make me feel so small again. Brenda sniffled dramatically, her words barely audible through her napkin. "Sweetheart, we just want what's best for you. If you'd just listen to Olivia about a job at her firm, the entry-level admin position." I cut in, my voice surprisingly steady despite the tremor in my hands. "The one where I'd be fetching her coffee?" Olivia's perfect smile didn't waver. It was infuriating. "Everyone has to start somewhere, little sister. Some of us just start higher than others." That familiar knot in my stomach twisted tighter. For 26 years, I'd been Olivia's shadow, watching her collect accolades while I collected criticisms. Every achievement of mine was measured against hers, and always found wanting. Every mistake became a family legend. "I already have a job," I said quietly, trying to regain some composure. "I'm doing well at a tech startup." "Playing with computers?" David scoffed, swirling his whiskey. "Meanwhile, your sister is running charitable organizations, making real differences in people's lives." "Making differences in her bank account, you mean?" I muttered, the words escaping before I could stop them. The silence that followed was deafening, thick enough to choke on. Olivia's smile finally cracked, a jagged line across her face. "What exactly are you implying, Chloe?" she hissed. Before I could respond, Brenda leaped to her defense. "Chloe, apologize to your sister right now. After everything she's done for you." "Done for me?" I laughed then, a harsh, foreign sound even to my own ears. "What exactly has she done, except ensure I never forgot my place?" "That's enough." David slammed his glass down, the sound echoing through the tension-filled room. "You've always been jealous of Olivia's success. If you spent half as much time working as you do complaining." "I work 60 hours a week." I shot back, finally standing, my chair scraping against the hardwood. "I'm leading development on a major project. But you've never once asked about it, have you?" "Sit down, young lady," Brenda commanded. "We're not finished." "Actually," I said, grabbing my purse, "we are." I was done. Done being the family disappointment. Done watching them worship Olivia, while treating me like I was broken. I was just done. Olivia's voice, dripping with fake concern, followed me. "Mom, Dad, she's just having another one of her episodes. Remember that time in high school when—" "Goodbye," I cut her off, striding toward the door. "Don't try to contact me. If you walk out that door," David called after me, his voice cold, hard. "Don't expect any help when you fail. Because you will fail." I paused in the doorway, my hand on the cold brass knob, looking back at them one last time. Brenda's mascara-streaked face, David's rigid disapproval, and Olivia's triumphant, satisfied smirk. They looked exactly as they always had, a perfect family portrait with one glaring imperfection.
"Me."
"Watch me," I said, my voice barely a whisper, a promise forged in fire. And then I closed the door behind me. 5 long, silent years. Years I spent building something they couldn't diminish, becoming someone they wouldn't recognize. 5 years of hard-won peace until my phone buzzed this morning. It was Brooke, my cousin. "Hey, stranger. You're not gonna believe this, but Grandma Beatrice's 80th birthday party is next month. Whole family's coming. Olivia's organizing everything, and she's planning something wild. She's been asking about you a lot." I stared at the message, my coffee growing cold beside my laptop. Through my office window, I could see the sprawling city skyline, the very same view that had graced magazine covers featuring my company. The same view my family would never in a million years believe I owned. Another message from Brooke popped up. "You should come. Show them who you are now." My finger hovered over the delete button. For a moment, I almost gave in to the old urge to disappear. But something stopped me. Maybe it was time. Time to show them exactly who Chloe Miller had become while they weren't watching. Just then, my phone buzzed again. A news alert. Tech innovator makes Forbes 30 under 40. My own face stared back at me from the screen. I'd insisted they omit my middle name for the article. My family never read tech news anyway. I thought of Olivia, so desperate to know what I'd been up to, planning something wild for Grandma's party. My sister always did love a good show. Well, I murmured to myself, a slow smile spreading across my face. Let's give her one. I typed a quick reply to Brooke. Tell me more about this party. Someone's been poking around your socials, Liam said, dropping into the chair across from my desk. And I don't mean the usual tech journalists. I minimized the quarterly reports on my screen. Let me guess. My sister? Not directly. Liam leaned forward, lowering his voice, even though we were alone. But that cousin of yours, Brooke, the chatty one who messaged you about the party? She told me Olivia's been showing everyone pictures of you outside some luxury condo in Manhattan. Interesting, I mused, considering I've never posted anything about where I live. Exactly. Liam had been my right-hand man since the startup days back when we were coding in a basement. He knew everything, including why I kept my success hidden. She hired someone, Chloe. A pie. A familiar chill snaked down my spine, the same one I used to get before those awful family dinners. You're sure? Remember Kevin from IT security? His wife works for an investigations firm. She overheard your sister's name mentioned in a briefing. My phone buzzed. Another message from Brooke. OMG. You have to hear what Olivia just told everyone in the family group chat. She says you've been lying about everything. Says she has proof you're not who you say you are. I showed Liam the message. He whistled low. She's trying to set you up for something big at that party. Let her try, I said, standing and walking to the window. 15 floors below, people looked like ants scurrying between skyscrapers. She wants to expose me? Fine. But she might not like what she finds. What are you thinking? Liam asked. Before I could answer, my assistant Emily buzzed in. Ms. Miller, your 2 o'clock is here. The venture capital meeting. Thanks, Emily. Liam nodded, heading for the door, then paused. Just be careful, okay? I know that look. You're planning something. After he left, I opened my laptop and pulled up my private email. 3 new messages from family members I hadn't spoken to in years, all asking variations of the same loaded question. Was it true? Had I really been pretending to be successful? I clicked delete on all of them. My phone rang again. Grandma Beatrice's number. My finger hovered over decline, a habit from years of dodging family drama, but something made me answer. Hello. About time you picked up. Her voice was exactly as I remembered, sharp, clear, taking no nonsense. Your sister's telling everyone you're some sort of con artist. Is she now? I asked, a wry smile playing on my lips. Don't play coy with me, girl. Are you coming to this party or not? I hesitated. Would you want me there? Wouldn't ask if I didn't. A pause. Something's not right with all this. Olivia's too excited. Like she's planning a public execution instead of a birthday party. Sounds like her, I mumbled. Chloe. Her tone softened slightly. What really happened 5 years ago? Before I could answer, my email pinged. A new message. No subject line from an address I didn't recognize, just a photo attachment. I opened it and felt my blood freeze. It was me, walking into my office building yesterday morning, coffee in hand. The angle suggested it was taken from across the street. I have to go, Grandma, I said, my voice tight. I'll think about the party. I hung up and enlarged the photo. In the corner, barely visible, a watermark. Arthur Investigations. My phone buzzed again. This time, a text from an unknown number. Interesting career trajectory for someone who was playing with computers 5 years ago. Your sister says hello. I should have felt scared. But instead, something else surged through me. Something harder, colder, something that had been building for 5 years. I dialed Liam. Remember that contact you mentioned? The one whose wife works at the PI firm? I need a meeting today. Chloe, they're watching my building, I explained, my voice low. Taking pictures. If Olivia wants to play detective, fine. I continued, a new resolve hardening my features. But she forgot something important. What's that? Liam asked. I looked at the photo again, at my designer suit, and the logo of my company clearly visible behind me. I'm not that scared little sister anymore. And I have resources she can't imagine. What are you going to do? I thought about Olivia's smirk that last night, about all the times she tore me down to build herself up, about the lies she was spreading now, trying to destroy whatever she thought I'd become. I'm going to let her finish her investigation, I said quietly. And then I'm going to show her what a real takedown looks like. The truth was coming. All of it. And this time, I'd be the one smirking across the table. Arthur Mann's office was exactly what you'd expect from a private investigator's digs. Weathered leather chairs, stacks of overflowing filing cabinets, a desk that had seen better decades. The man himself, though, was a surprise. Crisp suit, sharp, observant eyes, and a demeanor that screamed, I'd rather be anywhere else. Ms. Miller, he said, not bothering to stand as I entered. I assume this is about the surveillance photos. You assumed right. I sat across from him, mirroring his posture. Care to tell me why you're taking pictures of me for my sister? He studied me for a long moment. Professional courtesy prevents me from discussing other clients. Professional courtesy didn't stop you from sending me that photo. I shot back, a faint tremor in my voice. A slight, almost imperceptible smile touched his lips. Yes, that. I leaned forward. So, either you're playing both sides or something about this case made you reach out. Which is it? Arthur opened a drawer and pulled out a thick manila envelope. Your sister hired me to prove you were lying about your success. She was quite insistent I'd find evidence of fraud, deception, maybe even criminal activity. Instead, I found this. He slid the envelope across the desk. Take a look. Inside were documents, photos, financial records, my company's valuation reports, pictures of my penthouse, my vacation home, press clippings about my tech innovations. Everything I'd worked for, laid out in black and white. Impressive portfolio, Arthur said quietly. Self-made, clean, legal. The exact opposite of what your sister wanted to find. So why show me? I asked, my heart pounding. Because while investigating you, he continued, his voice low, I found something else. Something that wasn't supposed to be there. He pulled a thinner envelope from his desk. This was misfiled in your sister's background documents. I don't think she knows I have it. My hand shook slightly as I opened it. Inside, a single page. A bank statement from Olivia's charitable organization. Red flags screamed at me immediately. Irregular transfers, mismatched amounts, funds funneling into personal accounts. Is this what I think it is? Arthur nodded. Your sister's been embezzling from her own charity. Small amounts at first, then larger ones. The investigation into her activities started 3 months ago. She doesn't know. Not yet. But she will. He leaned back. Here's the thing, Ms. Miller. I don't like being used. Your sister hired me to destroy you, fed me lies about who you were. Instead, I found someone who built something real. My phone buzzed. Another message from Brooke. Olivia's telling everyone she's going to expose you at Grandma's party. Says she has proof you're living a lie. I showed Arthur the message. He actually laughed. She's planning to present my report at the party, he said, shaking his head. Thinks it'll humiliate you, show everyone you're a fraud. But instead, he gestured to the envelopes. Instead, she'll be presenting proof of your legitimate success to your entire family. Take them both, he said, pushing the envelopes across the desk. Consider it my apology for the surveillance. I stood, gathering the documents. Why are you really helping me? Let's just say, I have a sister, too, he replied, a grim smile touching his lips. And sometimes karma needs a little push. Outside his office, I immediately called Liam. Well, he asked. It's better than we thought, I said, my voice filled with a quiet triumph. Olivia's not just trying to expose me. She's going to accidentally expose herself. What do you mean? She's been stealing from her charity, Liam. And she's about to hand me proof of both my success and her crimes, in front of our entire family. A low whistle from Liam. That's poetic justice. I smiled, thinking of all those family dinners, all those smirks and cutting remarks. The best part? She's paying for her own downfall. Want to guess where she got the money to hire Arthur? I added, a dark chuckle escaping me. Don't tell me, the family trust account? The very same, I confirmed. The one she always said I wasn't responsible enough to access. My phone buzzed again. An email from Brenda. Chloe, please don't come to the party. Don't make things worse than they already are. I deleted it without responding. 5 years ago, I'd walked away from their table feeling utterly broken. This time, I'd walk in knowing exactly who I was and, more importantly, who Olivia really was. Liam, I said, sliding into my car. Remember how you said I was planning something? Yeah, I'm not anymore. I looked at the thick envelopes on my passenger seat. I'm just going to let Olivia's plan play out exactly as she intended. Sometimes, the best revenge is letting people destroy themselves. The party was 2 weeks away, and for the first time in my life, I couldn't wait for a family gathering. Holy SHT, Liam whispered, spreading Arthur's documents across my office table. This is comprehensive. I nodded, watching him flip through pages of my life's work. Forbes features, property deeds, company valuations, all of it meticulously documented. Olivia wanted proof. She got it. Just not the proof she was looking for. Liam held up a glossy photo of me speaking at a tech conference. This is going to backfire spectacularly. My phone lit up. Another message, this one directly from Olivia, the first in 5 years. Hope you're ready for Grandma's party, little sister. Time to show everyone who you really are. I showed Liam the message. He snorted. She has no idea, does she? None, I confirmed. I picked up the second envelope, the one containing Olivia's secrets. But this is the real bomb. We spent the next hour reviewing the charity's financial records. The pattern was glaringly clear, small withdrawals at first, growing larger over time. Money meant for children's programs, diverted to personal accounts. Luxury purchases disguised as operational expenses. Look at this. Liam pointed to a particular transaction. She used charity funds to hire Arthur. Not just that, I added, pulling on my banking app. She also drained $10,000 from the family trust account, the one she manages, on the same day. Can she do that legally? No, I laughed darkly. It requires all beneficiaries' approval. She probably figured I'd never know since I haven't touched that account in years. My office door opened, and Emily poked her head in. Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this. Olivia just posted something in your family's Facebook group. I pulled it up on my laptop. There it was. A long, seemingly heartfelt post about protecting the family from deception and revealing painful truths. She'd even tagged Grandma Beatrice. The comments, Liam said, leaning over my shoulder. Look at them. Dozens of relatives chiming in with support. My mother, Brenda, wrote, it's for the best, sweetheart. She needs help. My father, David, added, some people can't handle the truth. Only one comment stood out. Grandma Beatrice's, careful what truths you dig for, girl. You might not like what you find. Grandma knows something, Liam mused. She always knows something, I corrected, closing the laptop. That's why Olivia's doing this at her birthday party. She thinks Grandma's approval will legitimize her attack. My phone buzzed again. Arthur, this time. Your sister just demanded the final report. Says she needs it for a family presentation. Thought you should know. I typed back. Let her have it. Liam raised an eyebrow. You're really going to let her do this? Watch, I said, pulling up the trust account records on my screen. Olivia's so focused on exposing me, she's getting sloppy. Look at these transfers. She's been stealing for months, thinking no one would notice. But you did. No, I smiled. Grandma did. 3 weeks ago, she requested an audit of all family accounts. That's what triggered the investigation into Olivia's charity. I leaned back, a sense of calm settling over me. So, when Olivia presents Arthur's report, she'll be presenting evidence of my success to a grandmother who already knows about her fraud. Sometimes, the best revenge is just sitting back and watching. Emily appeared again. Ms. Miller, the board meeting is in 10 minutes. Thanks, Emily. I stood, straightening my jacket. Liam, can you finish reviewing these? I want to know every detail before the party. Sure, he said, but hesitated. Are you really going to expose her in front of everyone? I thought about all the times Olivia had humiliated me at family gatherings. All the smirks, the subtle digs, the way she'd positioned herself as the successful sister while painting me as the failure. No, I said finally. I'm going to let her expose herself.
My phone lit up one last time.
A message from Grandma Beatrice. Got my party invitation today. Says you're coming. About time, girl. Bring that backbone. I know you've grown. I smiled, typing back. Don't worry, Grandma. I'm not the same person who left 5 years ago. Good, she replied immediately. Because neither is your sister. And only one of you is going to like how this party ends. Looking at the documents spread across my table, proof of both my rise and Olivia's fall, I knew exactly which one of us that would be. Liam. I called as I headed to my meeting. Make sure those documents are somewhere safe. The party's in 10 days, and Olivia's not the only one who knows how to make a presentation. Sometimes karma needs a little help, and sometimes it just needs an audience. The week before Grandma's party, the messages started flooding in. First, Brenda's daily guilt trips. Please reconsider coming. You'll only embarrass yourself. Why can't you just let Olivia help you? We're only trying to protect you from yourself.
Delete. Delete.
Delete. I was in the middle of a board meeting when Brooke called 3 times. You need to hear this, she said, her voice urgent, when I finally stepped out to answer. I just overheard Olivia on the phone with Arthur. She's planning to do this presentation thing right after Grandma's cake. Says she's going to save the family from your lies or something. Did she mention what lies exactly? Brooke lowered her voice conspiratorially. No, but she's acting weird, Chloe. Like manic almost. Keeps checking her bank accounts on her phone. Yesterday, she tried to access the trust fund again, but Grandma locked it down for routine audit purposes. I smiled. How did Olivia take that? She threw her phone across the room. Perfect. The pressure was definitely getting to her. Thanks, Brooke. Keep me posted. Back in my office, Liam was waiting with more news. Your sister just tried to get into the building. Security stopped her. He gestured to the window. 15 floors below, I could just make out Olivia's signature red coat as she stormed to her car. What did she want? I asked, a hint of amusement in my voice. To speak with the CEO? Liam grinned. Guess she doesn't know that's you. My phone buzzed. A text from Arthur. Your sister's getting desperate. Asked me to dig deeper. Find something more damaging. I told her the report was final. I was about to respond when another call came in. Grandma Beatrice. You busy? She asked when I answered. Never too busy for you, Grandma. Good, because I'm outside your building. I froze. What? Saw your sister making a scene down here. Figured it was time we talked. A pause. Nice office you've got. Corner suite, I'm guessing. 10 minutes later, Grandma Beatrice sat across from me, looking exactly as I remembered. Elegant, sharp-eyed, and completely unimpressed by the panoramic view that made most visitors gasp. So, she said, setting down her teacup. This is what you've been hiding. I wasn't hiding, I began. Save it, she waved a hand dismissively. I've known about your success for months. What I want to know is why you let them think otherwise. I met her gaze. Would they have believed me if I told them? No, she admitted. They'd have assumed you were lying, just like Olivia does now, even though she's seen the proof. You know about Arthur's report? I know about a lot of things. She pulled out her phone and showed me an email, an audit report on Olivia's charity. Interesting reading. Grandma, don't worry, I assured her. I won't spoil her big presentation. She stood, straightening her jacket. Just tell me one thing. Are you ready for this? Not for Olivia's attack. Her eyes were steel. For the fallout. Because when this is over, nothing in this family will be the same. Before I could respond, my phone lit up with a message from David. Your mother's in tears over what you're putting Olivia through. I hope you're happy. I showed it too.
Grandma.
She read it and actually laughed. Oh, they have no idea what's coming, do they? She headed for the door, then paused. Wear that navy suit to the party. The one from your Forbes shoot. It'll look good in the photos. What photos? The ones everyone will be taking when Olivia's presentation backfires, she winked. I may be turning 80, but I still know how to stage a show. After she left, Liam came in. Was that really your grandmother? The one and only. She seemed terrifying. I was going to say prepared. My phone buzzed one final time. From Olivia. Last chance, little sister. Back out now, or I'll destroy everything you've pretended to build. I thought about the documents in my safe, about Grandma's knowing smile, about 5 years of silence and strength. You can't destroy what's real, I typed back. Then I pulled up the party invitation on my screen. 3 days to go. 3 days until Olivia would stand up, thinking she was about to tear me down, only to reveal her own destruction instead. Liam, I called out. Clear my schedule for Monday. I've got a birthday party to attend, and a sister to watch self-destruct. The country club ballroom fell silent the moment I walked in. Conversations died mid-sentence. Champagne glasses froze halfway to lips. Every single eye in the room pivoted to stare at me. I spotted Olivia near the cake table. Her face went from smug to utter shock as she took in my appearance. The navy suit had the exact effect Grandma predicted. Professional, powerful, expensive. Chloe? My mother, Brenda's voice cracked. What? How are you? Happy birthday, Grandma, I said, completely ignoring Brenda, walking straight to where Grandma Beatrice sat in her place of honor. I handed her a small, exquisitely wrapped package. Right on time, Grandma said, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. She patted the empty seat beside her.
Sit.
Whispers erupted around the room. That seat, right next to the birthday girl, was supposed to be Olivia's. That's my place. Olivia shrieked, rushing over. Mom, tell her. Make her move. Grandma cut in, her tone leaving no room for argument. It's my birthday. I'll seat who I want, where I want. I caught my father, David's eye across the room. He looked away first. The next hour was a symphony of awkward small talk and pointed questions. Relatives I hadn't seen in years suddenly wanted to know everything about my life. I gave them nothing, just smiled and gracefully turned their questions back on them. Enough chit-chat. Olivia finally announced, tapping her glass with a fork. It's time for the special presentation I prepared. She pulled out a thick envelope, Arthur's report, and moved to the small podium set up near Grandma's chair. Before we begin, Brenda interrupted, wringing her hands. Perhaps Chloe should step out. No, Grandma said firmly. Everyone stays. Olivia cleared her throat, a smug glint in her eyes. As you all know, family means everything to me. That's why it breaks my heart to expose what I'm about to expose. She looked directly at me, a venomous triumph on her face. Some people have been deceiving us, living lies, pretending to be something they're not. I sat back, relaxed, and let her talk. This was her show. I hired a private investigator, she continued, her voice swelling with pride, to uncover the truth about my sister's supposed success. And what he found. Show us, Grandma interrupted, her voice cutting through Olivia's theatrical pause. Stop talking and show us what he found. Olivia faltered slightly, but quickly recovered. Of course. I'll start with these photos. She pulled out the first one. My sister entering her office building, the company logo clearly visible behind her. This is where my sister claims to work, she said, a sneer in her voice. A tech company valued at. She stopped. She was actually reading the paper for the first time. Her face went pale. Go on, Grandma encouraged, a dangerous glint in her eyes. What's the company valued at? This can't be right, Olivia mumbled, shuffling through more papers, her hands trembling. These documents show what? I asked quietly, my voice a soft counterpoint to the rising tension. Property deeds, she mumbled. Stock options, board member appointments, Forbes interviews. The room was dead silent now, everyone watching as Olivia's hands started shaking uncontrollably. Read it, Grandma commanded, her voice like steel. Read what that investigator found about Chloe. She's the CEO, Olivia whispered, barely audible. The company, it's hers. All of it. Brenda made a choking sound. David's whiskey glass slipped from his hand, shattering on the polished floor. Keep going, Grandma said, unyielding. There's more, isn't there? But Olivia had reached the last pages, the ones about her charity. I saw the exact moment she recognized what she was holding. Her face went from pale to a ghastly gray. I think there's been a mistake, she stammered, frantically. These papers got mixed up. No mistake, I said, standing slowly. My voice was calm, clear, resonating through the shocked silence. Arthur is very thorough. He documents everything, including these bank transfers from the family trust account. The ones you made without approval. You had no right, Olivia shrieked, her composure completely gone. Those records are private, like the charity's records? I asked softly. The room erupted. Confused questions, relatives demanding explanations. Brenda was crying again, but for a very different reason now. David tried to reach Olivia, who was backing away from the podium, ashen-faced. Enough! Grandma's voice cut through the chaos, silencing everyone. She turned to Olivia, her eyes unwavering. You wanted to expose the truth. Well, congratulations. You did, I added, a quiet satisfaction in my tone. But not the truth you expected. Olivia looked around wildly, seeing the faces of our family transformed from shock to understanding, then to palpable judgment. Then she ran, straight out of the ballroom, leaving her damning presentation scattered behind her. Grandma picked up her champagne glass, a small, knowing smile playing on her lips. Well, she said calmly, I'd say this is turning out to be quite the memorable birthday party. And we haven't even had cake yet. The silence after Olivia's dramatic exit lasted precisely 12 seconds before Brenda found her voice. This is your fault, she shrieked, pointing an accusatory finger at me. You set her up. Did I force her to hire a PI? I asked calmly, my voice steady despite the chaos. Did I make her steal from her charity? There must be an explanation. David cut in, desperate. Olivia wouldn't. Wouldn't what? Grandma Beatrice's voice cracked like a whip. Wouldn't lie? Wouldn't steal? Wouldn't try to publicly humiliate her sister? The proof is right here, David. Your perfect daughter is a fraud. And your other daughter? Brooke spoke up from the back, her voice clear. The one you called a failure? Turns out she's the real success story. More relatives chimed in, the tide turning as the truth sank its teeth in. Aunt Linda, suddenly teary-eyed, was asking about the missing charity funds meant for her daughter's medical treatment. Uncle Robert was loudly demanding to know about the trust account transfers. Cousins were frantically scrolling through their phones, finding my company's website, my interviews, my achievements. All this time, Brenda whispered, sinking into a chair, looking utterly broken. All these years you were successful. I finished for her. Accomplished everything you wanted Olivia to be. Why didn't you tell us? David demanded, his voice hoarse with a mix of anger and confusion. I looked him straight in the eye. Would you have believed me? 5 years ago, you said I'd fail. That I was nothing compared to Olivia. Well, here's the truth, Dad. While she was stealing from children's charities, I was building something real. I need to find Olivia. Brenda stood up shakily. She needs me. Sit down, Brenda. Grandma's tone froze her in place. For once in your life, face what's in front of you instead of running to Olivia. A commotion at the door drew everyone's attention. Arthur Mann walked in, holding a folder. Sorry to interrupt, he said, nodding briefly to me. But there's something else you should all know. Brenda collapsed back into her chair. David went pale. I was required by law to report the charity fraud once I discovered it, Arthur explained. They've been building a case for weeks. Right on cue, 2 detectives entered the ballroom. They barely glanced at the birthday decorations as they approached our group. We're looking for Olivia Francis, one said, showing his badge. She left, Brenda whispered, trembling. We know, the detective replied. We just arrested her in the parking lot. The room exploded again. Relatives gasped, Brenda sobbed uncontrollably, David argued furiously with the detectives. Through it all, Grandma Beatrice sat calmly, sipping her champagne. Well, she said to me quietly, her eyes twinkling. Was it worth the wait? I watched my parents rushing out to find Olivia, watched my relatives huddled in shocked groups, sharing stories of how Olivia had borrowed money or made promises through her charity. I didn't want this, I admitted, the adrenaline starting to drain away, leaving me feeling hollow. You just wanted the truth, Grandma finished. And now everyone has it. She stood up, commanding attention as always. This party's not over. My granddaughter, my successful, honest granddaughter, is finally home. And I want cake. Later, as servers cut the elaborate birthday cake Olivia had ordered, Brooke brought me a fresh glass of champagne. That was intense, she said, a bewildered smile on her face. But you know what's crazy? No one's even surprised about Olivia anymore. They're all talking about you, about how they should have seen it. Seen what? I asked, genuinely curious. That you were the strong one. The real deal. She clinked her glass against mine. Olivia tried to tear you down and exposed herself instead. That's some karma. My phone buzzed. A text from Liam. News about your sister's arrest is hitting the business feeds. Want me to handle PR? No. I typed back. Let the truth speak for itself. Chloe? David's voice made me look up. He stood awkwardly, looking older, more defeated than I'd ever seen him. Your mother and I are going to the police station. But first, I need to say, don't. I cut him off, my voice firm. Save your apologies. They're 5 years too late. He nodded slowly, understanding finally dawning in his eyes. You really did it, didn't you? Everything we said you couldn't do. No. I corrected him softly. Everything you never bothered to see me do. As he walked away, Grandma raised her glass in my direction. Around us, relatives were already shifting, adapting to the new family dynamic. One where Olivia wasn't the golden child and I wasn't the failure. Happy birthday, Grandma, I said, raising my glass in return. She smiled, that knowing smile that suggested she'd seen this coming all along. Oh, sweetheart, this is just the beginning. My office phone rang at 2:43 a.m. The number was blocked, but I knew exactly who it was. Hello, Olivia, I said, my voice cutting through the pre-dawn silence. A pause. Then, how did you know? Because you always did your worst damage in the middle of the night. I leaned back in my chair, looking out at the glittering city lights. What do you want? I'm out on bail, she said, as if that explained everything. Mom and Dad won't answer my calls. No one will. That tends to happen when you steal from sick children, I replied flatly. I didn't. She trailed off. It wasn't supposed to be like this. You were supposed to be the failure, the disappointment. Not me. Sorry to ruin your narrative. Can you help me? Her voice cracked, a pathetic, desperate sound. You have money now. Influence. You could make this go away. Like you tried to make me go away? Silence. That's what I thought. I stood up, walking to the window. Goodbye, Olivia. Wait. She was crying now.
Please.
You're my sister? No, I said quietly, firmly. I stopped being your sister the day you decided to destroy me instead of accept me. I hung up. Just then, Liam knocked on my open door. Late night, he asked, noting my expression. Just finishing some family business. I gestured to my laptop. Did you see the email from Grandma? He grinned. The one about her new foundation? Pretty bold move. Starting a children's charity to replace Olivia's. Even bolder, asking me to be on the board. I showed him the press release draft. She wants to announce it next week. Speaking of announcements, Liam said, handing me a tablet. On it was an email from Brenda. Subject line. Please read. I almost deleted it, reflexively. But something made me open it. Chloe, it began. Your father and I are selling the house. The one we always said you weren't good enough to live up to. The one Olivia was supposed to inherit. We're donating the proceeds to Grandma's new foundation as restitution for what Olivia stole. We don't expect forgiveness. We don't deserve it. But you deserve to know that we finally see you. Not as we wanted you to be, but as you are. You won. Not because you proved us wrong, but because you proved yourself right. Chloe, you okay? Liam asked softly. Before I could answer, Emily buzzed in. Ms. Miller, your grandmother's here. Grandma Beatrice walked in, impeccable as always, even at this ungodly hour.
Good.
You're both here.
We need to talk about the foundation launch.
At 3 a.m., she smiled. Best time for fresh starts. She sat down, pulling out a folder. The DA called. Olivia took a plea deal. She's going away for a while. How long? Long enough to learn what it feels like to lose everything. She met my eyes. Like you did once. I didn't lose everything. I corrected her, my voice strong. I left everything. There's a difference. Yes, she agreed, a profound understanding passing between us. There is. She opened the folder. Now, about this foundation. I'm thinking big. Real change. Real help for families in need. No fake charities, no embezzlement, no lies. She looked up at me. Think you can handle that? I thought about Olivia's pathetic late-night call, about Brenda's halting email, about that dinner 5 years ago when I walked away with nothing but my dignity. Actually, I said, pulling up a proposal on my laptop, I have some ideas. Liam excused himself, leaving me with Grandma to plan something bigger than revenge, bigger than redemption. Not for Olivia, not for my parents, but for all the kids who needed what Olivia's charity had promised but never delivered. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Brooke. Family group chat is wild. Everyone's sharing your Forbes article. Even Uncle Robert admitted he was wrong about you. Times really do change. I showed it to Grandma, who laughed.
No, dear.
Times don't change. People do. Some grow stronger. Some show their weakness. You just happened to do the former, while your sister did the latter. And your parents, they're learning. She patted my hand. But that's not your problem anymore. You've got bigger things to build. Looking at the foundation plan spread across my desk, I realized she was right. I didn't need revenge anymore. I didn't even need their approval. I had something better. The truth. Not just about who I'd become, but about who I'd always been. Stronger than their doubts, bigger than their limitations, and finally, completely free of their shadows. Ready to change some lives? Grandma asked, pen poised over the foundation papers. I signed my name, not as Olivia's sister, not as my parents' disappointment, but as exactly who I was meant to be, always have been. Chloe Miller. The ink on the document was barely dry, but the weight it carried felt monumental. It wasn't just a signature. It was a declaration. A fresh start not just for me, but for countless kids who deserved a chance that Olivia's fraudulent charity had denied them. Grandma Beatrice smiled, a genuine warmth in her eyes that reached me deep inside. This is it, sweetheart, she said, her voice softer now. Laced with pride. The real work begins. Liam, ever the pragmatist, was already scrolling through financial projections on a tablet. We'll need a name, a clear mission statement, and a core team. And a press release, of course. Given recent events, the media attention will be intense. Grandma chuckled. Let them talk. Let them see what happens when integrity meets determination. And they did. The announcement of the Beatrice Miller Foundation for Childhood Enrichment hit the news circuits like a tidal wave. The timing, just days after Olivia's arrest and the public unraveling of her embezzlement scheme, was stark. Journalists, who'd been following the dramatic family saga, were quick to draw comparisons. My name, once whispered as a cautionary tale, was now splashed across headlines, linked to innovative tech leadership and a philanthropic vision. The initial days were a whirlwind. We set up operations with a lean, dedicated team. Liam, in addition to his duties at my tech company, threw himself into the foundation's strategic planning. His pragmatic approach, coupled with my vision and Grandma's unwavering support, formed a formidable leadership. We focused on transparency, on direct impact, on creating programs that genuinely address the needs of underprivileged children. Everything Olivia's charity had pretended to be. My parents, Brenda and David, were reeling. Their world, built on the carefully constructed illusion of Olivia's success and my supposed failure, had imploded. Brenda's email, promising to sell the house and donate the proceeds, wasn't just words. Within weeks, the for sale sign went up outside our childhood home. The house I was never good enough to live up to. It was a physical manifestation of their broken narrative, and frankly, a raw wound for them. They tried to contact me, of course. A flurry of texts, voicemails, even a handwritten letter from Brenda, stained with what I imagined were tears. They were full of apologies, expressions of regret, and a desperate plea for understanding. But 5 years of silence, 5 years of being invisible to them, wasn't erased in a few weeks of belated remorse. I read them. I absorbed their pain, but I couldn't bring myself to respond yet. The hurt was still too fresh, the scars too deep. It felt like I needed to focus all my energy on building something good, rather than revisiting the wreckage of the past. Meanwhile, Olivia was behind bars. I'd seen the news reports of her plea deal, a shorter sentence in exchange for cooperation, though what cooperation really meant for someone so self-serving, I couldn't fathom. The DA's office confirmed she'd serve a few years. It wasn't a life sentence, but it was enough to be a stark reality check. I didn't feel triumph, not really. Just a quiet, melancholic resolution. Her choices had led her there, not mine. The first major project for the foundation was ambitious, a series of after-school tech education centers in underserved communities. It combined my passion for technology with the foundation's mission. I poured myself into it, sketching out curriculum ideas, securing partnerships with other tech companies for equipment donations, and personally overseeing the pilot program. One afternoon, a few months into the foundation's launch, I was at one of our new centers, watching a group of excited kids learn basic coding. The room buzzed with energy. Suddenly, my phone vibrated. It was Brooke. "Hey, can you talk? Mom and Dad are here, and they're asking about the house." I stepped outside, leaning against a graffiti-splashed wall. "What about it?" "They're having trouble selling it. Says buyers are wary after everything. And they're thinking of just donating it to the foundation directly. But they wanted to know if you'd be okay with that." A strange mix of emotions swirled within me. The house, that symbol of so much pain and rejection, becoming a source of good. Tell them I'll consider it. On one condition, that they come meet with me at the foundation office. Not about the house, but about us. Brooke's voice was tentative. "Are you sure, Chloe?" "Yeah," I said, looking back at the kids inside, their faces lit up by the glow of computer screens. "It's time." The meeting with Brenda and David was the hardest conversation of my life, even more difficult than walking out that door 5 years ago. They sat across from me in my foundation office, looking older, smaller, their usual air of superiority completely gone. Brenda fidgeted with her purse, her eyes red-rimmed. David stared at his hands, his shoulders slumped. The power dynamic had irrevocably shifted, and they knew it. "Chloe," Brenda started, her voice thick with unshed tears. "We're so sorry. We were wrong. About everything." David finally looked up, his gaze meeting mine. There was a raw vulnerability there I'd never seen before. "We let Olivia blind us. We let our own pride, our own expectations, we let it destroy our relationship with you." He paused, swallowing hard. "You said we never asked about your work. And you were right.
We should have.
You deserved so much better from us." Their words were sincere, undeniably so. But sincerity didn't magically erase the decades of hurt. "Sorry isn't enough," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "It doesn't change the countless times you dismissed me, compared me, told me I wasn't enough. It doesn't change the isolation I felt, the constant need to prove myself just to get a fraction of the attention Olivia received." Brenda flinched. "We know, and we have to live with that." "Do you understand why I walked away?" I pressed. It wasn't a tantrum. It was self-preservation. I couldn't breathe in that house, in that family dynamic. I was suffocating. David nodded slowly. "We understand now. Or we're trying to." Losing Olivia, seeing what she truly was, it forced us to look at ourselves. At how we raised you both. How we enabled her, and how we diminished you. It was a start, a painful, agonizing start. We talked for hours, revisiting old wounds, not to pick at them, but to finally acknowledge their existence. I told them about the fear, the anger, the constant doubt they had instilled in me. They listened, truly listened, without interruption or defensiveness. By the end, there was no grand reconciliation, no tearful embrace, just a quiet, weary understanding. About the house, I finally said. If you want to donate it to the foundation, I think it could be used for something truly impactful. A safe haven for children whose families are going through difficult times. A place where they feel seen, supported, and hopeful. They both looked at me, a flicker of something akin to awe in their eyes. You would do that? Brenda whispered. It's not for you, I clarified gently. It's for the kids. It's about building a better future, not dwelling on the past. A few months later, the house was officially transferred to the Beatrice Miller Foundation. After extensive renovations, it became the Haven, a thriving community center offering counseling, educational support, and creative arts programs for children in crisis. The irony wasn't lost on me. The house that had been a prison of expectation for me was now a beacon of hope for others. The foundation flourished. Our tech education centers were expanding, and the Haven was rapidly becoming a model for similar initiatives. My own company continued its upward trajectory, now frequently lauded for its innovative tech and its CEO's commitment to social impact. It was a hectic life, but it was fulfilling in a way nothing else ever had been. One day, Liam walked into my office with a cautious look on his face. Chloe, I just got an alert. Olivia's eligible for parole in 6 months. A cold knot formed in my stomach. Olivia. Her name still carried a faint echo of the old dread. Has she tried to contact me? Indirectly. A letter to the foundation. Claims she's found God and wants to make amends. Standard parole board rhetoric. I sighed. She always was good at playing a role. Are you going to respond? I shook my head.
No.
I can't. Not yet, maybe not ever. My peace isn't contingent on her redemption. It's contingent on my own journey. But Olivia's impending parole brought a different kind of scrutiny. Media outlets, sensing a potential reunion or a dramatic confrontation, started digging again. Questions about our family, about my relationship with my sister, resurfaced. I decided to address it head-on, in a controlled environment. I agreed to a rare, in-depth interview with a prominent business magazine, not just about my company or the foundation, but about my personal story. The interview was cathartic. I spoke openly, honestly, about the years of being overshadowed, the pain of parental disapproval, and the ultimate liberation of walking away. I talked about Olivia's choices and their consequences, not with anger, but with a quiet, factual resolve. And I emphasized my purpose now. Building a legacy of genuine contribution. Many people might expect you to feel victorious or even vindictive, given your sister's situation. The interviewer probed. How do you truly feel? I looked straight into the camera. Victory for me isn't about seeing someone else fall. It's about building something meaningful from the ruins of what tried to destroy you. It's about finding your voice when you've been silenced, and then using that voice for good. Olivia's story is her own. Mine is about rising. The article was published, and the public response was overwhelmingly positive. It wasn't just a business success story, it was a human one, a narrative of resilience and profound personal growth. My parents read it, of course. David sent me a single text message. Proud of you, Chloe. Truly. And Brenda left a voicemail, her voice tearful but clear. You found your way, my daughter. And you helped us find ours too. It was the closest to an unconditional apology I had ever received. They started volunteering at the Haven, quietly, humbly. David used his connections to secure grants. Brenda helped organize events. They weren't seeking forgiveness. They were seeking a way to contribute, to perhaps earn a sliver of the respect they had denied me for so long. I didn't actively work with them, but I saw them there, interacting with the children, their faces softened by genuine engagement. It was a strange, unexpected evolution. Our relationship was no longer defined by the past, but by this new, shared purpose, albeit at a distance. Years passed. Olivia was released from prison. I never met her, never spoke to her. I heard through Brooke that she was living a quiet life in another state, working a low-profile job. The ambition, the manipulation, had been stripped away by the harsh reality of her choices. I didn't wish her ill, but I also recognized the need to protect my peace. My world, built meticulously brick by brick, no longer had space for her brand of toxicity. The Beatrice Miller Foundation grew beyond my wildest dreams. It was transforming lives, giving children access to opportunities one could only have dreamt of as that frustrated girl in Olivia's shadow. My tech company was a leader in its field, known for ethical innovation and a strong commitment to its people. One evening, I sat on the balcony of my penthouse, overlooking the city lights. Liam was beside me, a glass of wine in his hand. We weren't romantically involved, but our bond was deeper than friendship, forged in the fires of shared ambition, loyalty, and countless late nights. He was my confidant, my closest ally, the brother I never had. "Remember that night?" he asked softly, gesturing vaguely at the skyline. "When you said, 'Watch me'?" I smiled, a genuine, peaceful smile that reached my eyes. "I remember. It feels like a lifetime ago." "You did more than just watch them," he mused. "You built an empire. And a legacy." "It's not just an empire," I corrected him. "It's freedom. Freedom from their narrative, from their expectations, from the shadow. It's about building a life that is authentically mine, filled with purpose and impact." Grandma Beatrice, now well into her 90s, was still a formidable force. She remained the spiritual anchor of the foundation, her sharp wit and unwavering moral compass guiding us. She would often come to my office, not for business, but just to sit, to share a cup of tea, and to remind me of the quiet strength that had always been within me. "You know," she said during one of those visits, her eyes twinkling, "I always knew you had it in you, even when your parents couldn't see past." Olivia's glitter. "There was a fire in you, Chloe. A stubborn, brilliant fire. It just took a long time to learn how to wield it," I admitted. She patted my hand. "And you did. You used it to light up the world, not burn it down." My parents, while never fully integrated back into my inner circle, found a quiet redemption in their work at the Haven. They never asked for my forgiveness again, knowing it wasn't mine to grant in full, but something they had to earn for themselves. But I saw the genuine change in them, the humility, and perhaps that was enough. It wasn't about erasing the past, but acknowledging it and choosing a different path forward. There was a profound sense of peace in my life now. The anger had dissipated, replaced by a deep well of self-worth and purpose. The quiet girl who felt small and unseen had become a woman of strength, influence, and unwavering conviction. I had not sought revenge, but rather built a life so rich in meaning and impact that it transcended the petty vindictiveness of the past. My phone buzzed, pulling me gently from my reflections. It was a notification from the Foundation's social media. A photo of children at the Haven, laughing, learning, their faces alight with pure joy. In the background, subtly visible, was the familiar architecture of the house that once haunted my dreams. Now it was a place of vibrant life. I smiled. This was my victory. Not a moment of triumph over others, but a sustained, powerful testament to resilience, integrity, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. I finally understood what Grandma meant that day when she said, "This is just the beginning." It wasn't the beginning of a fight, but the beginning of a life fully, authentically, beautifully lived. My own life, free of shadows, filled with light, and building a future brighter than I ever dared to imagine. This journey was brutal, but it forged me into the person I was always meant to be. I finally understand that true strength isn't about avoiding conflict, but about facing it head-on and letting your truth speak for itself. If you've ever had to walk away from a toxic situation to find your own path, I want to hear your story. What was the hardest part? What did you gain? Share your experiences in the comments below. I'm reading everything.